Ford Transit 2014 model year, and what have we got today on this? So we've attended this for no high beam operation, so turn these heaters off. I'll show you what's happening. So if you flick the stock, you can see that it comes on right there. So you could imagine that the stock is fine, but if you just look in the reflection of my van, no high beam comes on. So this should be a fairly simple diagnosis. High beam, I mean, it could be an issue with the BCM, could be an issue with the high beam relay, could be an issue with the bulbs, but apparently the bulbs have been changed. So we're going to dive in the van now, get up HGS and see if we can figure out what's going on. So if we go into HGS, right, we're already in Ford Transit, so what we'll try and do is sit you guys around about here. By the way, the content in over the last couple of weeks has been extremely difficult to record. Weather-wise, I mean, it's all right today, but yesterday and the days before that, it's been absolutely pouring down. So that's why I've not really been putting out anything really that's worthwhile putting out. Some of the videos that I've put out recently have been kind of patchy, not very good. But we're going to dive into this Transit and see if we can get this diagnosed today at least. I don't know how well the lighting is, but if we go into wiring diagrams, go into addition, go into exterior lighting, and you can see HGS is actually quite good with diagrams. It's very rare that you don't find a diagram on HGS unless it's for like a Jag or something like that. They're short on like Jaguars and stuff, the more high end sort of cars, but most of the most of the wiring platforms are short and that sort of stuff. So let's go to low beam, because that's where it will give you the full diagram of the headlight. So let's go into here. So we know both headlights aren't working at the moment, so let's see what the easiest method here is going to be. So dip beam, that's your dip beam right there. I'll try and zoom in a wee bit more. So right there is your dip beam, and that is your high beam. So EO1B is your high beam, and that comes up into this relay, which is your high beam relay, K30. So if we click on that, so this one right here is your high beam, your actual relay for switching over your high beam, that is. And you can see that once that relay is switched over, it runs through F10 10 amp fuse, but it also comes along here. So it comes along here, comes down and goes into F09, which is a 10 amp, and then that will run down onto your other headlight. So if you look here, you can see a K30 relay. Unfortunately, well, this is your BCM here, so this is your actual BCM. It's not your underhood engine fuse box or anything like that. This relay is not external, it's internal. So that is a bit of a gutting thing, because if it is the relay that's faulty, then you know we're going to need to order up a BCM for this. But anyway, the way that we can test this is just go to F10. So if we go to F10 fuse and there's power there, once we switch the high beams on, then we can confirm that the relay is getting switched over and we might have a break. But the fact that both of these headlights are not working on high beam is a bit of a giveaway that it's unlikely to be, you know, just a broken wire, but you never know, it could be. But that's what we're going to do. We're just going to go into F10 fuse, we'll flick the stock. If the high beam comes, if the test light lights up, then the relay internal to the BCM is good. If not, then yeah, we're looking further back into the actual BCM itself. Right, so I'll just show you my setup here and what I'm actually doing. So if we go back to the wiring diagram, so right now I'm going to check that we've got power once we switch over the stock itself. So if we've got power at F10 and F09, we can confirm that we've got an open circuit from, you know, the BCM towards the actual two light units itself. But my suspicion is the actual relay itself is failed, or we've maybe got something else causing it to not output. So what I'm going to do here is, there's our two fuses there, F09 and F10. I'm just going to go across that. In fact, I'm going to need to sit you guys down, so how am I going to do this? Hold you guys just on the couch, on the seat, and then I'm going to flick the stock. You can see our test light does not light up at all. So we're definitely not getting any output from the BCM. So we know that we're not getting any output at all from the BCM directly at the fuse. So what I'm going to do is just manually give it power and see if the the high beam comes on. If it does come on, then we can rule out, you know, all the wiring going to it, which we can kind of already rule out, but we need to do the test anyway. We just want to make sure that those two lamps will come on high beam when I give it power, so let's do that next. So what I'm going to do in this case is just go directly at the output side of the fuse. I mean, you can go onto pin 5, which is a grey and brown wire, but just for easiness I'm just going to go straight across each fuse. Can you see that come on? Yeah, you can see it on camera. It's very, very faint, but you can see it, it is there. So that side's coming on, no problem. So we'll move on to the right hand side. You can see that comes on as well. A little bit brighter because you can see it, it's not so much in the glare. So let me see, I'll try it again. So on, off, on, off, on, off. So that test right there pretty much confirms that we've not got an open circuit in the wiring. We know for definite that the fault is internal to the BCM. If we did have any shorts to ground, then you know it would have obviously blown the fuse. But in this case, it just looks like we've got a faulty BCM. Probably the relay itself is faulty. Now the stock and all that, you can see that that's working. The fact that the stock is able to give a signal back to the BCM to allow that to more or less say the high beams are turned on, so that's why it's flashing the little logo on the instrument cluster, so it knows that the stock is getting pressed, so the BCM is getting that input because obviously it's telling the instrument cluster that the output's there. So we're going to get either a new BCM for this or a second hand. I'll speak to the customer, but hopefully that was a bit interesting. I'm struggling for content now. A lot of it's just pretty boring stuff. But yeah, we know that the bulbs are obviously alright. The customer renewed the bulbs anyway. We tested, you know, the output direct at the BCM, so the two fuses. That's alright. So we know that the wiring integrity is good as well, because we gave that power directly at the fuse. It lights up no problem. So we haven't got an open circuit, we haven't got any shorts or anything like that. It's just, you know, the BCM internally has got a failure. We need to get either a new one or a used one. So I'm just back at the transit. You can see it there for the BCM. I'm just getting a read on the original unit, and the customer's bought a new unit as well. Now we haven't got two keys with this, so that's why I'm using IO terminal, but you can also see here that we've got some corrosion going on in there, so it's going to be waterlogged or juice or something spilt on it. So I'm just going to save that dump, read the EEPROM data, get it transferred over to the new module, and we'll get it all plugged in and see what's happening with it. Like you said, nothing has kind of went wrong. Everything seems to be alright on the actual writing over, so hopefully we plug it in and it's just a case of clearing the fault codes. So that's us done, guys. Customer's going to put all them back on, they took them off, but no warnings on the dash. In our main beam, if you look in the reflection of my van, and you can actually hear the relay click as well. So I've also programmed the customer in another key because he had one sitting there, so he's also got 2 keys now. So that's basically it. Transit BCM replaced for a customer, and I think this is Newhouse. So that's us done on this one, guys. Hope he's liked that. I was going to sit in a chair but nearly squashed my laptop. I hope he's liked that one. Remember, click that like, share and subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers!